Who are you?
I'm Edward Travis.
What year were you born?
I was born in 19 August 25th, 1951,
Where exactly?
in Inglewood, California.
What was your neighborhood like as a kid?
Oh, back when I was a kid, the population wasn't as great as it is now, and there were more places to play for kids.
Mhm.
Have little forts or whatever you like to do.
Mhm.
And any kind of and the fishing was in any pond or was a lot better, a lot better back then. And Uh, there was this is this less crowded,
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It was, yeah, they didn't have all the modern toys like they do nowadays, like the video games or anything like that there. But you know,
Yeah.
you really didn't miss them because you never knew what they were. So
Yeah.
you know, but it was, I had some good times as a kid. My grandparents' ranch. They had a avocado orange ranch at Fallbrook, and I think some of the best times of my life were on the ranch. It was a paradise back then.
What was school like when you were a kid?
School. School was school was fine. There was it wasn't as much different different racial cultures as you do nowadays.
Mhm.
Back then, it's but but the school was fine. Most of the kids had to walk to school.
Yeah.
I had to walk to school most of my life until I got a driver's license and I was able to drive. And it was no, got no big complaints. There's just not a I don't think a big difference than it was back then to
Mhm.
me. Okay.
What challenges did you face during that time?
Well, challenges back then. We faced oh well just it depends. I had my parents got divorced when I was young, too young to remember.
Mhm.
So I lived with my father, I lived with my mother, lived with my grandparents, and and so
What was the first job you had,
well
and what was it like?
my first job was out of high school was enlisted in the Army, U.S. Army, and I was a engineer, become
Mhm.
an engineer, and I was wish I would have stayed, and went to college.
Mhm.
I think would have been a smarter move. Live and learn, And I, you know, but I'd seen a lot of the world, seen Europe there, seen Asia, different states and different people,
Mhm.
different countries and how they lived in third world countries
Mhm.
and it was very educational,
Yeah.
you know. It's an experience a lot of people in this country should do is see what life is like in some of these third world countries,
Mhm.
and they probably have more respect, appreciation for this country if they seen it, if they lived in them kind of environments for a while.
Mhm. What were your teenage years like?
Well, my teenage years, I had a pretty good time. Run around with my friends, and we had different types of clothes, like bell bottoms with the big belts and everything, and that was kind of bad back then. And they
Mm.
had, you see, winter dances, and they had a lot of good bands back then, you know.
Yeah.
And I played in a little band myself there, guitar in a little band, and did a lot of fishing, you know. Just hung out there, you know, just did things there like the kids nowadays do. You know, there wasn't a big drug problem, as major drug problems they do nowadays. But you know, they even back then there were some drugs.
Yeah.
But you gotta. My advice is you gotta say no and have willpower and stay away from any kind of drug and and, and I would be careful with the alcohol too because that's a drug. And try not to smoke.
Yeah.
You know, have the willpower. Don't smoke because you know it could bite you later on in life.
How did you meet your spouse?
My spouse I met. My mother was. Yeah, she went to school later in a beauty college after her kids got big. You know, and she had, you know, wanted to get out there and start working. You know, she raised her kids, and they're almost raised, and my wife there was a student there, and at school was single, and my mother told us, you know, started telling her about me. You know, I was single, and so we ended up having a date, you know, going on a date together, and that's how we met. And we dated for a while, and later on we got married. Had 2 kids. You know.
What major wars or conflicts do you remember during that time?
I was born at the time of the Korean War, which my father was in, and I was too young to remember that there, but my main remembrance of war, the first war was the Vietnam War. I remember the Cold Wars. I remember the war with Iraq, and
How did you
I
how did you
remember the
how did you
Cuban
feel about them?
crisis.
Yeah, how did you feel about them?
Well, the Vietnam War, in the earlier years, there, you know, it was people, uh, you know, people accepted it there. You know, maybe they didn't, most probably didn't like it, but then after so many years, people started getting rebellious about the war
Mm-hmm.
and having protests there and wanted to end into it, and but
What major historical event have you lived through, and what do you basically remember about it?
what
A major historical event.
event?
Yeah.
Well, some of my major historical events. Well, I remember the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I think I was 12 years old at the time, and that was a shocking experience there for me and everybody else. You know, uh, I just remember, you know, remember all the Vietnam War that went on, and hearing about all the casualties and people killed. And the impeachment of President Nixon. I remember that there. That was quite a historical event.
What jobs have you had? What jobs have you had?
Well, I started out of high school. I went in the service, the United States Army. When I came out, I went to school to become a welder, and
So I've worked as a welder. I've worked for places like Todd Shipyards, Martin Marietta Aluminum, City Riverside, and I retired as a welding contractor.
What do these jobs teach you?
Oh, I learned a lot of skills, little mechanical skills, fabrication skills. You learn about, you learn about people there and problems people have and getting along with people,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And you learn the value of life there, having to work for it,
Mm-hmm. What type of food were you served in the military? Like, what type of food do they serve?
Oh, they serve in the military. You had 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
You had breakfast. They'd give you like bacon, eggs, and sometimes they'd have pancakes,
Mm-hmm.
and coffee, milk, and just every, well, the type of things,
Mm-hmm.
But gave you they gave you that cream sausage on bread, on biscuits there.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty common. And lunchtime there, they'd give you, make different things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have chicken, maybe sandwiches. Just, they started towards the later years. They started serving a kind of racially motivated food like Hispanic food, Chinese food,
Mm-hmm.
soul food, and which was a nice experience
Mm-hmm.
because of the ethnicities joined in the service, back in the later years,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd eat out, eat out a lot too,
Mm-hmm.
the PX, and okay,
How'd you get each of your tattoos on your arm?
go ahead.
Your tattoos on your arm? How'd you get each of them? Do you have a
Oh,
story from?
oh,
Here, why don't you show them?
the tattoo. I was young and stationed in Germany,
Mm-hmm.
and they had uh, a man, a German man, in a traveling tattoo like parlor
Mm-hmm.
that he'd go around to the GI bases, give tattoos to GIs
Mm-hmm.
for a price,
Mm-hmm.
and so as being young there, I thought it was kind of cool, but my recommendations to the young are I wouldn't do it. Because I'm sorry I had these put on, because once they're on, they're not easily removed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
They have
It's
easier ways
difficult.
nowadays to remove them, but
Yeah, but back then they probably didn't have it.
no, back then there was no easy way to remove them, and later on in life, if you're sorry, you're stuck with it,
Mm-hmm.
But uh, they got easier ways to remove them now, like laser, but it's probably expensive, time consuming, and maybe a little painful,
Mm-hmm.
And my advice is, if you have to get a tattoo, I would get one up above the top of the shoulder, where so it's not exposed
Mm-hmm.
when you're wearing like a short sleeve shirt or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be, if you have to have one. As far as the tattoos on places like the neck, I would face. I would avoid that and fight the will to do it. because later on there, if you try to get a job, it could affect, you know, it could affect you getting a job and many other things in life.
Mm-hmm. When you were talking about how did you meet your spouse, your experience that, I was very curious to know a question. Where did you and your spouse attend on your first date?
On the first date, I took her to a drive-in movie and we watched a movie.
Yeah, what movie was it?
Let me see if I remember. It might have been Easy Rider, if I remember.
Was it a good movie?
Yeah, it was a good movie. We enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
almost choked my popcorn there, but you know, but I we had a good time, and we took a drive around Palos Verdes,
Yeah.
which we, you know, and then I took her home, you know,
Yeah.
and we had a good time.
Yeah. Is there anything that you wish you had done differently in life and why?
Yes, I would. Yes, if I wish I would have went to college after high school,
Mm-hmm.
and instead of, you know, and then go into service. If I want to go into service, then after college go into service.
Mm-hmm.
But education, especially right now for the youth nowadays, education is critical
Mm-hmm.
because you're entering a very intelligent type of world where everything's computerized and the need for unskilled labor is very minimal. You know, everything is becoming robotic, and they learn skills and go to college right now is very critical, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
for the young.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have went to college, but I did go. I went to school in the Army. Took some classes. I went back to school.
Yeah,
in the
what
Army.
classes did you take?
I took math, English, you know,
Mm-hmm.
different stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. How long did you have to take it?
I think I don't know, 6 months, a year.
6 months.
I went to welding college there when I came out.
Mm-hmm.
That was about a year. I went to contractor's license school.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I furthered my education, but I recommend go to college or make every effort to try to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need that. And if it could go to accredited college there, that would be better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How has America changed in your lifetime?
Well, America's changed. When I was young, most of the TV shows back then, Ozzie and Harriet, shows, you know, that, for example, Rifleman. I mean, they were really family oriented and real clean.
Mm-hmm.
There, you didn't hear a lot of foul language or anything like that there, and as time went on there, you know, things started to change, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you got in the 60s there, the free love movement and everything, and things just started to change there, and every decade's pretty much had their own fads and their own changes, and
Mm-hmm.
and nowadays there, you know, there's a lot of vulgar stuff there, language and everything you see on TV and everything, which is you know, maybe not good there. A lot of kids, I believe, copy it, you know, and but it's just like I say, life changes, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Every decade, there's usually a different change and something new and different way, different clothes, different way of talking, you know, and different people.
How has the world changed in your lifetime?
Well, the world changed. Like I say, modernization of inventions, changed life a lot.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, definitely.
and the world is, my opinion, a little overcrowded, getting overcrowded. But
Well, there's over
man,
like 7 billion people in the world, so
yeah,
yeah, I'm not
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. So that's, but, but uh, so it's changed, changed for the better. I like some of the newer toys we have nowadays.
Mhm.
Laptop, flat screen TV. You know, you know, DVR. I mean, VC.
Advice do you have for myself and the people in this generation?
Well, I'll, I'll I'll be honest with you. The best advice I could give the young is that it's critically important.
Mhm.
Whatever you do in life or choose to do in life, you pick something, try to pick something you like to do or love to do. If you do that there, you'll never have to work again. That's
Mhm.
one of the most critical things advice I could give any young person.
Mhm.
That's what I always tell a young person, you know. And number two, uh, have the will, get the willpower to say no, and don't mess around with, don't get on these drugs or like meth,
Mhm.
heroin, or it's it'll ruin your life. I've seen many lives ruined
Mhm.
from drugs or being in the service, and I've seen it out of the service too. And just you gotta say no, get the willpower not to do it. It's critical.
Mhm.
And don't smoke. Try to fight the urge and smoke. Get the willpower not to do it. It will. It will. I've seen people dying of lung cancer from smoking a lot, smoking many
Mhm.
cigarettes, and it's not a pleasant thing to see or experience.
Mhm.
And I've had relatives that have emphysema from smoking,
Mhm.
and it uh, it will uh, it will absolutely affect your health.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I would encourage any young person, pick a job that you like to do, and I'll guarantee you'll never have to work again. That's very critical in life. I know by experience.
Mhm.
Don't stay away from the drugs. They'll destroy you, destroy your family. And I've seen people I've seen people lose their family, friends, everything from drugs
Mhm.
and their lives. Stay away from cigarettes. Don't smoke.
Mhm.
It's not cool. It's not cool. And I know sounds cool when you're young. Sounded cool to me. I had the willpower not to do it. I tried it. It didn't make sense to me. Breathing smoke with all these
Toxic chemicals.
toxic
Basically toxic, yeah.
toxic chemicals that are in it into your lungs and
Mhm.
body just didn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
And I had the willpower not to stop doing it. And I today don't smoke.
Mhm.
I don't smoke, and I'm a happier person. Save a lot of money there too. Cigarettes are expensive. Yeah, they're bad for your health, your teeth, your breath, everything.
Mhm.
It's just a bad habit. And okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Dad.